class, then 16.4 would recognize the power of the state to make a special measure in relation to that particular individual entry as well.
Yes, Lord.
On the other hand, when the expression that is used is backward classes, it will include the SCBCs.
Yes, Lord. Yes.
It will include the SCs.
Yes, Lord.
And the STs.
Yes,
so OBCs, SCs, and STs.
Yes, Lord.
Now, for the purpose of Article 16.4, does the expression backward classes means the entirety of the scheduled caste as one conglomeration, or can it refer to individual entries in the presidential list also as a backward class?
Yes, Lord. My
Can we
submission.
deny the fact that an individual entry in the presidential order is also a backward class? If it is a backward class, then 16.4 would recognize the power of the state to make a special measure in relation to that particular individual entry as well.
Yes, Lord.
On the other hand, if we say that no,
as a whole,
scheduled caste as a whole is a backward class,
yes,
then that is not permissible.
Yes, Lord. I would say the later, my Lord. I respect your submission. And why, my Lord? Throughout the Constitution, your Lordships would find only one expression coming when I take your Lordships to 335, the efficiency. When I take your Lordships to the other 46, when I cite 46, your Lordships have seen it over the last 2 days repeatedly. Expression scheduled caste, scheduled tribe will occur as such. And even 16.4, kindly see, in favor of...
Look at when we understand the interface between 16 and 341, we must recognize that in 16 itself, certain restrictions or certain measures can be imposed only by Parliament. So 16.3, state has no role. 16.3 is only Parliament. It says nothing in this article shall prevent Parliament from making any law. 16.4, on the other hand, says state.
Yes, ma'am.
Which will include the union,
yes, ma'am,
as well as the state government.
Lordship, yes.
It refers to provision, not just law.
Lordship.
So when
executive order,
likewise 16.4a state, 16.4b state,
Lordship. Yes,
16.5 and 16.6
law by law.
16.5 law. 16.6 state.
State. Make any
now,
provision.
Therefore, the provision of 16, while 341 left the designation to Parliament, 16 by itself recognizes that the states will be implementing these special measures. Or making any provision as 16.4 says.
May I just...
So the role of the states is directly then recognized by 16.4.
They have a role, my lord, but what role is important, my lord? They have a role. Because that picture of 341 is incomplete without 16.4. 16.4 will have no meaning if 341 exercise is not there. That's how they're interrelated. So therefore, as my lord the Chief Justice asked me, what is 341, my lord? And my respectful response, identification process. But can the state take upon itself the identification process is the question I ask myself.
No, they can't do that.
It can't do it.
No question of identification.
They have no role in identification.
16.4 also is only an enabling provision.
Lordship, yes.
Suppose if the state decides that it will not provide for reservation.
Before the vehicle moves forward,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No necessity to provide reservation. That's the end of the matter.
End of the matter. Yes,
so therefore,
it can be done.
Can you deny the ground realities that in a list, blacksmiths are there and scavengers are also there? Did they face the same degree of discrimination when they are brought in the list? Were they not untouchables among the untouchables? And therefore, if recognizing that, if the state decides to provide among that class a preferential treatment, would 341 come in that way?
Yes. Lord, my respectful submission is, my lord, that exercise, my lord, is an exercise which has been done in 341. And the shades of red and the shades of green have been identified.
No, exercise of identification of the classes or groups which suffered from discrimination
have been identified.
Yeah, but they don't go serial wise that higher the number in the list, the more discrimination, or lesser than if it is serial number 15, the least discrimination.
Yes.
So if the state,
yes,
it is for the state in order to achieve social and economic justice
Yes.
to provide for reservation. And while doing that exercise, if it tries to find out that among that class, who are the more disadvantaged, and does some special provision for that, would it be barred by 341?
Yes, my lord. My respectful submission is that it would be barred by 341, and the
Then,
reason is
then,
this.
then it will perpetuate the inequality among those classes.
Yes, my lord. Yes, yes. But I'm aware. That's a submission, my lord. That's a submission on the other side, and that's your lordship's query to me, my lord. May I respectfully respond? My lord, this submission that comes from the other side is really questioning 341 exercise.
No.
Not at all. So, after N.M. Thomas, it has been held that even if 16.4 was not there, still taking cue from Article 14 and 16.
16.1.
16.1.
Yes, my lord. It could have been done.
It could have made reservations.
This is an equality measure.
Because the purpose is to remove inequality so as to bring them equal.
Lordship, yes.
So, if your submission is to be accepted, take for example a particular caste in Maharashtra. For last 75 years, if a particular caste has been occupying 75% or 80% of reservation, among that 13% reservation, and there are some castes which have a sizable representation, but they don't have even 1 or 2% reservation. So would it not amount to perpetuating inequality amongst that class which has been identified under 341?
Lord,
And if to remove that inequality, if the state decides to do some exercise under 16.4
Lordship, yes, my lord. That's the submission.
or 15.4,
Yes, my lord. The question that is being asked.
because
Yes,
341, if state does not provide for reservation, it only provides for what would be scheduled caste,
Lordship, yes.
and then the reservation is provided under 16.